up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Chris Moore, and in today's video, yeah, that's right, boys, we finally got it. 2022 Hayabusa. Yeah, I know. That's all you've been seeing on the channel here lately, but this one gonna be a little different because we're gonna put a little magic go-go juice in there. That's right, guys. We're gonna do two tunes on this bike. We're gonna tune it on MR12. Now, no, I cannot do two tunes in the factory ECU. This customer has a power commander installed. We will be taking that power commander and we are putting a map switch on it where he can toggle back and forth between pump gas and race gas. And we are gonna do two tunes on this thing to get him the best possible performance out of pump gas and MR12. Now, can we do this on yours through the mail? If you have the power commander, then yes, there is a possibility we could email the power commander map, but that power commander map will only work with our flashed ECU. So you gotta have our flashed ECU, and then we put that map on top of that for the race cast. So a power commander adds or subtracts fuel on top of what's in the ECU. So if we put the correct amount of fuel in the ECU, there's essentially no need or reason for a power commander unless you want to have two maps like this guy. So basically his first map will have nothing in the power commander. It won't be doing anything. When he flips the switch, that's when the power commander is going to add additional fuel on top of what's in the ECU to balance everything out for MR12. All right, guys, enough talking. Let's get into this video. Here we go. So as far as modifications go, this customer has got a Brock's alien head exhaust. He's got a DME swing arm stretched about 4 or 5 inches. I don't know, you can see his tire. The center of it's not quite at the back. So anyways, just to give you an idea, a lot of guys, you guys are always emailing me wanting to know how long you should take your bike. This bike here, I'm gonna say is stretched about 5 or 6 inches. That's just guessing. But anyways, he's got the Sprint P08 air filter. That is the street version, not the F185. And other than that, that's pretty much it. So this thing, just your basic bike as far as performance modifications go. In other words, this exhaust air filter and a tune. We did the baseline pull already. It made 174.79 and 104 foot-pounds of torque. Keep in mind, this bike does have the factory velocity stacks. So the horsepower is gonna fall off pretty hard here, but we're gonna have big torque numbers in the mid-range. The way this bike is set up with the factory cams, as of right now, it's kind of hard to beat the factory velocity stacks as far as at the track. These things don't like to be revved. So even though when you put the aftermarket velocity stacks in them, it makes better horsepower out here, the torque is way less through here, and I'm just not decided if which one is gonna actually go faster at the racetrack. I think the factory velocity stacks are gonna be pretty hard to beat, short shifting the bike, shifting it like 10,000 RPMs. I'm gonna get this thing to the track, or not this one, another Gen 3 Busa, to the track soon, do some testing, do some playing around with just basic modifications to see how you can go the fastest setup with this thing. And I'm gonna take you guys along with us, of course. But anyways, flashing the ECU now. We should have this all ready to go here in just a second. Uh-oh, looks like it's ready now. Let's get this thing flashed up and taken care of. Here we go, the tune is almost set and dialed in on pump gas. It should be close to our final tune. This customer did elect for the ultimate pops and bangs tune. Hold your ears, boys, shit's about to get real. is finished on pump gas. We started out with 174.79. We ended up with 181.35. So we picked up about 3 foot-pounds of torque. We went from 104 to 108 pretty much. And we ended up with about a 6 horsepower gain throughout the whole entire RPM curve. So pretty good. There's not huge restrictions in these Busas. They actually just come running to rich, going wide open. So once we dial in the air fuel ratio, just the ignition timing for these things, they pick up good horsepower, but not tons and tons of horsepower. Now we are going through the process to put the Power Commander map switch on. As you can see here, he's got his Power Commander mounted in the back. And then now we are installing a map switch. This will go here. We're gonna run this nice and neat up here. And then he's gonna have this little toggle switch, which will mount right here, that he will be able to adjust his maps from pump gas to MR12. Literally just flip the switch. So anyways, we're getting that installed. We're gonna drain the tank. We're gonna have MR12 100% pure in there. And then we're gonna see what kind of power we can get. I'm gonna go out and predict about 6 to 7 horsepower gain. That's typically what we get from MR12. It'll be interesting to see how this thing does as we tune it. Now, we're getting close to, or let's just say we're getting close, we're speaking in advance. We're hoping for about 190 horsepower on these things. And I think that's easily doable, but that's gotta be like a max effort project. In other words, you're not gonna just bolt the exhaust on, or at least not on my dyno. Dynos, they all read a little different. They're not like a tape measure where 12 inches is 12 inches. On a dyno, 180 horsepower is 180 horsepower, but you go to the next dyno, it's 183. You go to the next dyno, it's 171. You know what I mean? So they all read different. You can't compare dyno to dyno numbers. You have to compare start to finish just in the tuning gains that you get. Anyways, on my dyno, I think in order to get 190 horsepower out of these things, you gotta do some simple mods, full exhaust. So far, the best one we've tested is the Brox Performance Alien Head. That's the best one I've tested. I've tested the Yoshimura, I've tested the Two Brothers, I've tested all the Brox ones. The Alien Head seems to be the best. You need the Sprint P08 or F185 air filter. The F185 on the dyno is worth about 1 more horsepower than the P08. It doesn't filter the dirt quite as good. So for everyday street use, the P08 is definitely a little better, but for ultimate track and performance use, the F185 is the best flowing air filter you can get. So you do that air filter. So far, the best velocity stacks we've tested are the billet velocity stacks from our friend in Cyprus. Now, if you haven't seen that video, you can scroll back through our other videos. We have all the contact information for where you can buy those stacks. To get those from him in Cyprus. He's on Facebook, he doesn't have a website. Check him out on there. Those velocity stacks are the best. The next thing is gonna be doing like worldwide bearings. It's the ceramic wheel bearings. Doing those bearings, freeing up the weight, make this thing roll a little bit better. Even if you did a set of BST wheels, you gotta get this bike to roll better. From the factory, they don't roll super good. The bikes are super heavy. So in order to make these things fast, you gotta get weight off of them. Weight doesn't show up on the dyno though. But either way, the wheel bearings are worth maybe 1 horsepower on the dyno. They're worth a lot more in real life. The next thing, the chain. We need a good rolling chain, okay? So either you A, take the O-rings out of the factory chain, or B, put a good roller chain on them. I personally think that a 525 chain would be safe for roll or street racing use. I wouldn't push it as far as a 520 on a Busa for roll racing. In my opinion, you're asking for trouble because this bike is heavy and it has a lot of torque. Torque is gonna be hell on the chain. So if you did the factory chain, just took all the O-rings out, the bike, it would roll much easier. Keep in mind though, your chain is gonna wear out much faster. This is for race purposes only. Once you do that with MR12, I think this thing will make a solid 190 horsepower pretty easy on my dyno. On somebody else's dyno, that might be 200 horsepower. On somebody else's dyno, that might be 185. Who knows? My dyno, traditionally, I would say reads low to correct, not happy, you know. So another thing too, the tire that you have on there. The tire affects a lot with the way the dyno reads. You can see how here we've got some boogering on the tire. That means the bike is spinning just a little bit on the dyno. The bikes do dyno really well with the factory tire. If you put a Shinko hookup, you're gonna lose 5 to 10 horsepower right off the bat as far as the way the dyno reads, because it is slipping on the drum. That does not mean your engine has 5 horsepower less, just means your dyno number is 5 horsepower lower. There's more mods soon to come on these things. We're hoping some aftermarket companies come out with some aftermarket drop-in cams, because the cams are the holdback on these bikes. Suzuki has got way too small of cams in these things. They are smaller cams in this 2022 Hayabusa than what a 1999 Hayabusa came with. Yeah, that's right, guys. 20-something years newer bike, now we got smaller cams. That's why these things make big torque numbers, big mid-range, but they fall off incredibly bad on the top end. Anyways, enough blabbering. Dazzling Drew has almost got our map switch installed. We're gonna get the MR12 race gas in and see what this thing does. Here we go, boys. The stage is set. The MR12 is in. We got the map switch all hooked up. I've already made a couple pulls to get this stuff fully cycled through the system, and I've got the tune pretty well spot on. Overall, I'm really impressed for just pouring this in the tank with a second tune. I think this is going to be the magic touch for what these things need. Come in the comments below. What do you think about MR12? Is it worth almost $200 for 5 gallons? Yeah, that's right, guys. She's a little on the pricey side. Also, what do you think about the pops and bangs? Is it loud enough, or is it way too loud and you would never want that? Now, keep in mind the ultimate pops and bangs, you have to breathe back on the throttle in order to activate that. It does not just do it when you let off the gas, and it does not do it above or below 6,000 RPMs, and it does not do it in 6th gear. So you can easily avoid it even if you get the tune. You can have it when you want to be that annoying savage guy, or you can just cruise through the neighborhood quietly and never attract any extra attention. We did it! Yes, 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 yes! 190 horsepower, 114 foot-pounds of torque. I had to push every single button on the keyboard, boys, but there she is, 190 horsepower. I told you we had a special recipe. I told you what we needed to do. We got it without even doing all that stuff. So if we did that extra stuff, would we have 194, 195? We do need a little bit cooler conditions. Look at how hot it is now. We're gonna go to display, we're gonna go to conditions. 92 degrees in the dyno room on our best pull, 29% humidity. That yielded our best results. Imagine if it was 65 or 70 degrees, boys. This right here, that might be 195 horsepower. But anyways, all that little stuff, all the little expensive stuff, it matters, guys. You gotta do it. If you wanna be the horsepower, if you wanna race, you need every little ounce you can. Now, 200 bucks for MR12 for 5 gallon? Comment. Comment in the comments below. Let me know, is that the dumbest thing you've ever heard of, or is horsepower priceless? How much would it cost you to gain an extra 7 or 8 horsepower? Could you go on a diet? Could you eat a few less cheeseburgers and maybe speed yourself up the same amount? Or is it not? I mean, just burn the money. Just do whatever we got to do. Just make the bike faster. Let me know. Hit us up, mooremafia.com. We can get you guys hooked up with anything you need. If you want a Brock's Performance Alien Head exhaust, any of this stuff, hit us up. We got discount codes for this stuff, guys. You can go on my website. There's a special page just for discount codes. You get 5 and 10% off a lot of different products from a lot of different companies. Look that up. Look us up, mooremafia.com. Smash the like button. Be sure you subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. We do videos like this all the time. If you're new to the party, welcome. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.